Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Heyer and I'm from Whitefish, Montana, currently studying media arts and filmmaking at the University of Montana. I just finished 6 weeks with a wildlife conservation program in the Limpopo region of South Africa. I just lived on a research base, helping with the general assistance of maintaining a real research base in the wilds of Africa. It was an incredible experience. Some of my duties included cooking for everyone on base, cleaning the base, doing some of the general assistant tasks to the main researchers, reserve work, and so much more. So a typical day with the program was waking up at 5 a.m. and then getting prepared for our first research drive. What this means is that a group of us would divvy up into different jobs, and then each person does something that contributes to the drive. Someone's on the data collection, someone's on the telemetry that's used to track the animals, someone is on spotlight duty because it's super early morning and you can't see at night. Somebody is preparing coffee and drinks for our break. Somebody is checking the vehicle to make sure everything's good to go. Those are just some of the jobs that were included. And the main focus of our research drives on this private game reserve was to go track the cheetahs. Sometimes we find the cheetahs quite effortlessly, sometimes we never found them. But when we do find them, we would collect as much data as we can about them. How full they are, what they're doing, are they mobile, what are they feeding on, what are they doing? And then we radio call where their location is, so it's easier for the safari lodges to locate them on the reserve as well. And once we gathered the priority data on the cheetahs, we would use the remaining time to go out and find the lions and collect similar data on them. By that point, it's usually about 10:30 in the morning, and we return back to base, have lunch, chill out, and then we would go out for a second drive and do the exact same thing in the afternoon and into the evening. Every day, twice a day, there was somebody going out to find the cheetahs and collect data on them. But like I said, there was a lot of other tasks involved. Once in a while, we would do reserve work, which is just going out on the reserve and moving fallen trees, fixing fences that elephants had destroyed, covering off-roads, things like that. Twice a week we would go into the local township and teach local children at an elementary school human development skills. So I did 2 lectures while I was there. I did one about abuse and what you should do if you know somebody who's being abused or if you're being abused. So that was a very empowering experience. And then once a week we would go and just play sports with the local community kids, which was awesome. And then once a week you were put on base duty, which involved cleaning the entire base, cleaning the bathrooms, and cooking 2 meals a day for 20+ people. Those definitely weren't my favorite days, but just part of the experience. And then periodically, just depending on what the schedule is on the reserve and what the team is doing, you get to participate in a plethora of other amazing experiences. Probably the coolest things I was lucky to be a part of was 2 days of rhino dehornings, which was an intense, chaotic, emotional, and eye-opening conservation project to witness rhino dehornings and why it's necessary for the reserve to have to do that in the first place. I was able to learn so much about the rhino poaching crisis in South Africa and how it plays out right in front of us in the real world, and what people are doing to preserve the rhinos in South Africa. So that was definitely a highlight of my experience, was being a part of that. I was so lucky. It's an annual thing the reserve I was doing does, and I just happened to be there at the right place at the right time. The best part about my project was definitely the people I met. I met people from all around the world who are all interested in wildlife. There was such a diverse group of personalities. We had about 8 countries represented on base when I was there, and I was there representing Montana, which was really cool. This experience has benefited me professionally because I want to go into a field of media and filmmaking, and I was lucky enough to always have my camera out and filming and contribute to the media content creation that they use to promote on their own social medias. I gathered lots of footage and can't wait to compile everything I took to educate people about what I did there, why it's important, and for things like the rhino dehorning, why we did that in the first place. So in a way, I'm kind of the messenger for communicating what we do in South Africa back home and why it's important and why you should care. Overall, the experience was great. I'd say the most challenging part was probably adapting to the primitive lifestyle of base. Every day something wasn't working. Sometimes there's no running water, sometimes there's no electricity. Where's the gas? There's lots of insects, there's lots of creepy crawlers in your laundry basket. There's not always hot showers. I'd say the other challenge was no privacy. You're living in mixed dorms and sharing bathrooms with everyone else who lives there, so you're always sharing everything. In fact, there's no Wi-Fi where I was. You have to purchase it, and it was way too expensive for me to purchase on a weekly basis, so I just decided to go off-grid for a while. And then I think the final challenge was being able to charge your items. The base was running on a solar power system, so if it wasn't sunny, there was no power. And even when there was power, we only had the outlets available to the volunteers for a set amount of hours of the day. And so you're also competing with all these other volunteers who want to charge all their camera phones and laptops at the same time. So that was probably the most challenging part. How I planned and paid for this project was quite a few different things. The main contributor was the Frankie Global Leadership Initiative Scholarship that I'm here on. This is my out-of-classroom experience with that program, so that was a huge help. I would not have been able to do this program without them. Another way I paid for this trip was that I exchanged my media services to AFS Next, which is the company that sponsored the rest of my trip with the program here. So that was a huge help as well. I highly recommend this program for anyone who's interested in a wildlife conservation program abroad or just want a volunteer experience abroad. This company I was with, GVI, has 16 bases all around the world. Some of them are humanity-related programs, some of them are wildlife. I definitely would consider doing another one in the future. I had such an amazing experience. This has been a life-changing event. Like I said, best 6 weeks ever. Wouldn't trade it for anything. I miss my GVI family so much. I became so close with them all, but now I'm so excited to share with others what I did, why it was important, and a little bit about how they can get involved as well. So thanks for listening in. I'm Jeff, and thanks so much for watching.